Hey, Gemini, Mel, Intuitive Coach here, excited to bring in your August 2025 monthly reading. If you are interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Gemini, what is in store for you in the month here of August? I keep wanting to say October for you. Now, perhaps Gemini, October is a significant month, or it could even be that there may be a breakthrough or some sort of physical, tangible results that show up for you in the month of October that is being initiated here or offered in August. So for example, let's say you are applying for a new position in your career, and it could show up as an invitation or an offer in August, but you may start, working for this company by October. Now, for some of you, you have an event planned for maybe later on in the year. Maybe this is a trip. This could be travel arrangements, or you could even be connecting to family here. I'm also getting celebrations. Maybe you have a loved one that has a birthday in the month of October. All right. Gemini, key themes. You have here mending, wanderlust, and memories. The mending is significant here because this is actually about coming together after a period where things may have broke down or things may have felt a bit separate, as you see the cracks here in the foundation. Now, the blue flowers are highlighted here. The blue is the throat chakra. This could be communication, being able to creatively express yourself or speak up for what it is that you need, or speak up for what it is that you want. It can also be the energy of support, like being heard and having your needs being met. Now, this is coming together energy, maybe even forgiving someone or something that had happened to you, something you have experienced. It can even be self-forgiveness. And some of you may have recently gone through some form of surgery or even therapy. And I feel like that is helping or has helped immensely. Now, I'm also getting here for some of you, you have either suffered from a bit of like brain fog. For others of you, it feels like you've had some issues in the body that have needed maybe to be more addressed. Okay, you may have had to tend to some of the things that were showing up for you on a physical level. And I see that you're trying to get better sleep. You're trying to take better care of yourself because, health is wealth. And I feel like you are taking a look at your health and you're getting serious about it. Okay, that's the message I'm getting, Gemini, is you're getting serious about your health. Maybe this is emotional, maybe it's mental, it could be physical for you. And there's repair work that is being done. I'm also getting cellular energy. Perhaps things are shifting here for you on a cellular level. I am getting messages through dreams. Some of you are doing a lot of healing, a lot of repair work during your dream state, which we all do anyway, but I feel like you could be astral traveling. Some of you are connecting to loved ones in the spirit world, through your dreams. A lot of you are getting information, solutions, and answers could be coming through your dream state as well. So pay attention to any of the cracks in the foundation because they're coming up at this time for you to mend, for you to work through. I'm getting communication is important between you and maybe loved ones. This could be between you and your children, maybe you and a spouse or a partner, or you may want to reach out and talk to someone at this time. Now you have here wanderlust. The wanderlust is all about expansion, right? It's about seeing the world through a new lens. It is about you maybe traveling. It's the energy of freedom here, wanting to feel more financial freedom. Some of you are literally planning a vacation or travel. Maybe this is for business. It could be for pleasure. But I'm also seeing you expanding the mind and opening yourself up to the possibility of what else is possible. If you have felt stuck or if you are ready to embrace a new beginning, because some of you have gone through something that's been quite heavy or it's been quite challenging, I feel like you are finding ways to feel freer, right? Liberate yourself. Okay, there's an energy of liberation. Now, this can also be moving. Some of you could be moving, relocating. Perhaps you are visiting family that live at a distance. This could also be connecting with people who may be in a different town or maybe a different state. I also see you expanding your reach. Maybe this is in your career. You could be expanding your reach if you're applying for jobs. And if this is your business, I feel like you could be taking your business to the next level. So wanderlust is a beautiful energy here of, trying new things and being able to discover new ways of living, new ways of being. Oftentimes I love to travel to places that are completely unfamiliar. I'm talking, geographically and, the landscape, the animals, the culture, even the language, because it does feel like it puts you into a whole new different universe. And it is so interesting to me to see how people live in different ways. And I see that you're open to this. You're open to new beginnings, or at least that's the message that's coming through here, is being open to, understanding things from maybe a lens that you didn't have initially. You have memories coming up here. Maybe this is that October energy I'm picking up on for you, but it can also be, nostalgia, maybe even a blast from the past. We have a few planets at this time going retrograde, and I feel like you may have some old wounds, maybe old memories, or maybe some old dreams that are resurfacing here for you. Maybe you've always wanted to go to Tahiti, right? Maybe you've always wanted to go to Paris, or you've always wanted to visit Sicily, or wherever this is. Maybe you've always wanted to write a book. Perhaps you've wanted to, get married again, fall in love, whatever it is that you are dreaming, whatever whatever's showing up in your memories at this time. I feel like they're bringing this up for a reason. Now, you could be reminiscing here in some of those memories because you may have a loved one who has crossed over, and maybe you're dreaming about them. And that dream has you thinking about things in a way that you haven't thought about. Some of you are contemplating sharing your story, like sharing some of your memories. Maybe you have a social media platform. Maybe you are posting pictures like flashbacks, maybe memories of you 10 years earlier or even as a child. You could be seeing like the world kind of, I don't want to say pass you by, but it does feel like the times are changing here, and you're sitting back watching how, things are not the way that they used to be. And I feel like there is a twinge of nostalgia. Like, I remember when things were simplified, or I remember when things felt easier, but you may be also using that energy to help other people in some way. This is about the history, so it does feel like you have some sort of history that may be resurfacing here in order to fully heal, or in order for you to see it from a perspective that you weren't able to prior. Now, Soul Lessons is at the bottom of the deck. Soul Lessons is about inner growth. We don't often grow when things are perfect, right? When things are, very joyful and very happy and very abundant. That's a great energy to be in. We want to be happy and joyful and abundant, but it's through the struggles where we really see what we're made of, right? We really are able to reach into the inner strength. We're able to view parts of ourselves that we weren't able to view prior. We're cracked wide open, and our heart is capable of forgiving and loving and getting up again, picking up the pieces. So I feel like you've gone through scenarios that have matured you, that have aged, all of us, as we'll all age. But I also see here that abundance and that joy and that warmth, it is a balancing cycle where we are meant to ride the highs and lows. We're not meant to stay stuck in the lessons forever. And I feel like there is something here you are shifting out of. I feel like you have been on this journey for quite some time. And maybe some of you have even felt like your gratification was delayed in some way, or it's felt like you thought you would be at a different spot in your life than where you are. But I see here that you are opening yourself up to the world. You literally have wanderlust and the world here. And it feels like you're entering into a new lesson. And not all lessons are, so very challenging. Sometimes these lessons bring in with it a lot of joy, right? A lot of love, a lot of expansion. But I also feel like, there are times in those lessons where we have the mirror held up. And some of you have seen the reflection of something, shining back at you. And I feel like that's where you are at right now, is saying, do I like what I see in the mirror? Do I like where I'm at in my life? Am I happy? So you have the opportunity here to take what you've learned, apply it to your present circumstance, because you now have the wisdom. And you have the wisdom showing up here literally on the world card, and you have the word wisdom here. This is about learning and teaching. You know the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You could be the student at this time, entering into a new lesson, as I mentioned, but you could also be the very wise teacher who is here to teach, coach, mentor, and heal through the memories of something that you have endured. And by doing so, it actually helps you heal. All right. You have here the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is the energy of clarity. It's the Ace of Truth. Something is shining bright, just like this diamond. And I feel like you have this new understanding. There's a new solution that is showing up within the confinements of the mind. Something in the past may have held you back mentally, but I feel like this is the breakthrough. This is the truth. This is the expansion of being able to see things from a new light. This is about authenticity and cutting through the barriers so you can free yourself up. I feel like you're starting to tell yourself a new story. Instead of the old story of soul lessons and perseverance and fight or flight and struggle and scarcity, or the not having enough, not being enough, that's what you are releasing. That's what you are mending. And I feel like it feels like your soul is sitting down and having a warm cup of tea, right? Or a nice cup of coffee with your future self. And the both of you are getting together here, your soul self, your future self, and maybe the ego self that you're sitting in now that sometimes is wounded, right? That wounded ego where we react from our wounds. We manifest from our wounds. We communicate from our wounds. There's something here about you not doing that. You taking a look and asking, is this coming from my wound, or is it coming from my heart space? And Gemini, I feel like you deserve to feel this energy of, support. And that's exactly what's coming in here, is some form of support. Maybe this is financial. Maybe this is support from a loved one, a partner. But it feels like you have more clarity about a situation than maybe you've had in the past, because it feels like there was some sort of miscommunication here. Maybe you really got up in your head about something and you just could not find a solution or a way out. And I feel like like this is the breakthrough that you have been wanting. It's also a beautiful gemstone here, and you, Gemini, are certainly a gem. Now we have the World coming in. I am getting here again, travel, or some of you are entering into this new beginning. You could even be graduating in a sense. This could be a spiritual graduation where you've been on this journey for some time of working on self-development and self-healing. And maybe you're ready now to put yourself out there. Share your gifts, share your stories, be of service in some way. I feel like the world is your oyster. And even though you have been on this long journey, you are meant to feel that sense of completion. This is a sense of wholeness. And that's exactly where you're sitting at this time. And you may be sitting in some nostalgia with the memories, and you may be seeing how far you've come, you know, how much you have gone through. And there's a compilation of everything coming together here. And I see that you could be making some very profound choices. Maybe this is retirement for some of you. For others of you, maybe you are stepping into marriage or opening yourself up to that portal. For others of you, I feel like you are taking your career maybe in a totally different direction here. And it feels like you are ready, you are wise, and you have what it takes to spread your wings here, even if you don't always feel ready. Now you have the King of Swords. This is your air element here. Now the King of Swords is very intelligent, very logical, very experienced. And I see here that some of you may have been dealing with legal issues or maybe the law. This may have to do with like passports, or it may have to do with like rules or regulations, law enforcement, military, things of that nature. Now, I'm also getting with this King of Swords, this is about you communicating in some way. I feel like communication is important. Some of you may be like speakers, or you may be speaking up for a cause. Now, sometimes this energy can be like a lawyer. Sometimes they can be like an advisor. This is someone who has something to say, and he's well respected. People listen when he speaks. And I feel like this is either you or an archetype that you are applying to your life, or it could be someone very helpful or very beneficial that guides you on your journey, that helps you in some way, because I feel like this is a very supporting energy for you. Now we have the Temperance showing up here. Now the Temperance is patience, but it's also the energy here of karma. What goes around comes around. And I see here that there may have been a point where things felt wildly out of control, but this tells me that you're getting back to a space of moderation. You're getting back to a space of feeling more in control of your thoughts, more in control of your feelings, your finances, your relationships, whatever has felt a bit crazy for you. You have the word karma, which is also showing up here on the soul lessons. So this tells me that you were meant to learn what it was that you had gone through. Regardless of how heavy or light it was, you are meant to go through it, because I feel like it has taught you a lot about yourself, and it was meant to help you in some way, not hinder you. And there's the difference, because sometimes we let the past define us in a negative way or a limiting way where we feel stuck or we feel held back by the past. And I feel like that's where the liberation comes in. That's where you're able to free yourself here and put yourself out there in ways that may feel a bit scary, may feel a bit vulnerable, but I feel like you got this. You have the beautiful wise owl that is showing up above her. Maybe some of you are seeing owls. Owls could be significant. Maybe you see an owl in a logo, or maybe you see an owl in a tree. How incredible would that be for you? But I feel with this Temperance, this is also about you rebalancing your chakras and giving yourself that needed tender love and care, okay? Being kind to yourself. A lot of you are working with the angelic realm, and you might start seeing evidence of miracles taking place in your life. And here's one of them with the star. You have the star energy here, and the star is about wishes and dreams and inspirations. Now, it's also a brighter future because some of you, you couldn't see the stars. It was too cloudy, right? It was too cloudy. It was too foggy. You couldn't see beyond. The stars have always been there. But sometimes when we're going through these lessons, it can cloud our judgment. It can cloud our understanding. And what's happening here is you're going through a bit of an awakening, right? You're going through this deeper sense of awareness with the star here. And I feel like you are healing. You're on this healing path, which I feel like we all are, but you are forgiving, you're understanding, and you're realizing that as above, so below. With the highs comes the lows. And I feel like you are accepting all of it. There's something here about accepting your past. You cannot go back and change something that has happened, but you can start right here, right now, and you can have a new outcome. That's what I'm getting here for you. Now, you have here the Page of Pentacles. This is the beginner's mindset here, but it starts with getting honest with yourself about what you truly want in the material and the physical world. What is it that you want? The Page of Pentacles is reflecting here on commitments. You may be considering an additional, path here, or additional education or learning, career, skills, things of that nature. You are being guided to stay loyal to you because I feel like you are such a hard worker. You've invested a lot into yourself. I see that here even with the King of Swords, but I see that there's something new opening up, and it could come through the form of a message. Okay, this could be an honest message that is delivered maybe by or from this King of Swords. But I feel like there's also a level of fragileness, right? Because just like the eggs are very fragile. You may be asked to handle something with care or to be fragile to yourself, be gentle to yourself here. But I see here that there is a new opportunity coming up. Just like with the eggs represent new opportunities. And I feel like if you choose yourself, if you continue to stay loyal to your path and stay honest with yourself, I definitely see this star activating, which means there's a dream that you are embracing. That's part of what this new opportunity is bringing in for you. So this could be a new job offer. It could be a new friendship, a new relationship, maybe a new home. It can be, taking care of your health, investing in your health, because that's important here. And you might see, long-term results where you're feeling better. I'm also getting here for some of you, you may have watched someone slowly decline. And I feel like that has scared you in some way. Okay, maybe the aging process with the wisdom here, it feels like you don't want to go down the path that maybe someone else went down. And I feel like that actually inspires you, or it changes the way that you view something. And I feel like you want to live the best possible life that you can for yourself, for your family, for your well-being. Now, when it comes to health, again, with aging, it feels like genetics, something here that maybe a father had, or like a sibling or someone in the family dynamic. Maybe someone had been predisposed to like diabetes, or maybe there's been a cancer scare, or someone has recovered from cancer. Maybe someone has crossed over from cancer. I feel like there's something here with genetics that may be playing a role, or that may be an underlying concern that you could be taking preventative care towards. I'm also getting here recovery. So some of you are survivors of something that was very difficult to go through. It feels like a full recovery. Some of you a miraculous recovery here. I'm also getting here with the Temperance. It can be overdoing it to the point where, we overeat, where we start to gain weight, and that becomes our default, where we continue eating and eating and eating, and we wake up one day and we look in the mirror and we don't recognize ourselves. It can be, over consuming alcohol where, one drink each night becomes 2 drinks, becomes 3. And over time you look back and you're like, who is this version of me that is being reflected back in the mirror? That's that reflection energy. That's the memory showing up. So I feel like there is a cycle here or a pattern that you are healing, that you are breaking free from in some context. And I see that you are using the past to help you. If anything, it feels like you're not sitting in the past. If anything, if you are looking back, it is to help give you inspiration in where you are going or where you want to go here. And also where you don't want to go. So let's look at finances, money, and wealth, Gemini. We have here the transporter. Okay, someone is seriously in the travel industry here. Maybe you are a taxi driver. Maybe you drive Uber. Maybe you're a truck driver. Perhaps you are in the business of real estate, or maybe you want to flip houses, or you want to, rent out Airbnbs here. This card is a good indicator that things will start moving for you rather quickly. You actually have the green light, and it looks like there's going to be, an honest offer here coming through, potentially from that King of Swords, someone who's going to tell you exactly what they need. Here's the offer. This is me putting it out on the table. Do you want to accept? And I see that, this is something that could benefit you immensely. There's definitely something that's changing here. A career in transportation, such as travel, driving, or shipping, could appeal to you. Or you could travel for work, or perhaps you need to take action on a financial matter. Now, some of you could be taking a look at refinancing here, maybe even moving monies into a different account. You could even be taking a look at paperwork that has to do with assets or power of attorney, wills, property taxes, things of that nature. It feels like you're getting organized when it comes to maybe some of those things that we don't always think about. Sometimes it's until it's too late, but it feels like you want to get organized and prepared for the unexpected. And maybe that's part of the shift. Maybe you've seen someone go through a huge mess because they didn't have a will. And maybe that had prompted you to say, okay, I need to get on this because, the inevitable can happen at any given moment. And I want to be prepared. I don't want to be in a mess like I saw, those people go through. So I feel like you are planning, you are preparing here. Now you have take action. It feels like now is the time, Gemini. Whatever your question is, this is the green light. This is telling you to go for something. Do not procrastinate or wait to take that next step to get ahead. Just do it. Nothing will change if you don't take action. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Yeah, I do see an opportunity here coming in, and it looks to be aligned with a maybe long-term dream of yours. So now is the time here. If you've always wanted to write that book or start that business or make that move or apply for that job or, retire, whatever it is, I feel like you are being divinely guided to expand your scope. Some of you could be designers. You're being called to tune into your individuality and express yourself. You could have a career in fashion art, or any artistic endeavor could be just for you. Some of you may design houses. You may design homes. This could be interior design. Maybe you design dresses or websites. Perhaps you are working on a logo, working on marketing here, advertising. Get creative with your finances. Perhaps it's time to discover a new talent. You are very talented, Gemini. And because you have the Page of Coins here, and because you have this newfound sense of clarity, if you are curious about something, if you're like, I wonder what it would be like to, be an actor. Maybe you want to take an acting class, right? I wonder what it would be like to show up on social media, have my own YouTube channel, then take action by creating your first video. You don't have to have all of the pieces in place. You just have to begin and take one step at a time. Remember Lao Tzu's quote, right? The one most of us know, the journey of 1,000 miles, what begins with a single step. So that's what you are being guided to do. Just take a step closer towards a dream, because there is something opening up here for you. You are the designer of your life. Let's take a look at love, relationships, partnerships, maybe even family. We have addictions. All right. This is like that temperance energy. Some of you may have overdone it, or maybe you've gone around, or you've been in partnerships, or maybe you watched growing up someone overdo it, like go to extremes. Maybe there hasn't been a label of addiction tethered to it, but when we tend to find ourselves consuming more and more and more to either escape, or because it doesn't give us that high that we once got, where we keep trying to fill the hungry ghost, then it becomes an addiction. And I see that codependency, emotional blocks, obsessions, restraints, control, and even possession have been born from this addiction. And I feel like that is something you are trying to close out of your life. You're trying to work through these energies. Even if this is something that you suffer with yourself, or it could be someone around you. And by closing out, it doesn't mean I'm cutting this person off, I'm never talking to them, but it feels like you're trying to find mature ways to deal with something better, right? You're trying to feel more whole or more complete within this situation than letting it drag you down to the pits of, the bottom here. You have the picture showing up again. So some of you are definitely taking a walk down memory lane here. It could even be that someone from the past or an old dream of yours is resurfacing. This could be someone looking at pictures here, and that could spark up something. Maybe you have, a flashback. Maybe this is a social media flashback of, again, when you were a child, or it could even be a time in your life when you looked really happy, and you find that picture and you're like, what was going on in my life at that time? What was different? What is it that I want to bring back to life that brought me a lot of joy or fun? How can this inspire you? Maybe you're looking back in pictures and you're realizing that you're not in any of them. And you're like, wait a second, why am I always the one behind the scenes? Now I am being guided to be this active participant. I can have fun, and I can, snap selfies, and I can be in the pictures with my family or my children. It just feels like there's something you are dreaming of. And it says here, best wishes. We actually have Paris. We have the Eiffel Tower here. Someone's name could be Brown, or Brown is significant. Okay, it says Pony Brown here. Looking at pictures, missing you, nostalgia, making new memories. Yeah, you want to make new memories here, because I feel like you don't want to let life pass you by. And that's kind of what I was getting earlier is, seeing the ever-changing, fast-paced energy that we live in. And I feel like you don't want to have regrets. You don't want to get to the end of your life and say, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have taken that trip, right? Or I wish I would have allowed myself to take that opportunity, or to fall in love, or to go to that show, or to travel to this place. I feel like you're definitely opening up here. And when it comes to love, perhaps you have some memories with someone here. Perhaps you've been with someone for quite some time, and there could be a new realization around this relationship. There could be like new energies coming in here for the both of you to, honor. Is our path still together? Is our path still walking hand in hand? Can we continue to grow and to evolve? It may look different than maybe it looked at one point. And you have self-indulgence. Now, self-indulgence is also that temperance energy. So you are being asked to drop into the energy of tender love and care. If you are going to indulge on anything, let it be on your self-care, your self-worth. It's time to heal. Some of you have been diving into shadow work and really diving into appreciating the good, the bad, the ugly. When you have that sense of appreciation for everything, that's that sense of wholeness. That's that sense of completion. It doesn't mean that you have to like it. You can appreciate the lessons that you have learned, even if they were difficult. When it comes to love, a lot of you are just sitting in your own energy at this time. What feels good to me? What do I need to do to, create that sense of completion and happiness within myself? Because then I can reflect it out into the world. Then I can attract what it is that I truly desire, what it is that you truly deserve here, Gemini. And if you are looking for love, I definitely see that you could start talking to someone, and maybe someone has suffered from some sort of addiction. Maybe there is still a bit of maybe a past or some baggage someone may be trying to close out. So just be mindful not to be too impulsive. The Temperance here is saying don't rush. Be patient, because someone could still be healing. All right. And lastly here, there's the Gemini mask, right? We have the mask as your archetype. The mask is the persona, the performance, the reveal. We often think of a mask as something that conceals our identity, yet contemplate the possibility that the mask permits our true identity to be revealed. It allows. The mask gives voice to that which was previously rejected. When this card appears, enact the side of you that is seeking expression, right? We talked about that with that throat chakra. Yet was never given a role to play on the stage of your life. You are in the realm of theater, so anything is possible. Speak with others' voice. Embody the other's limbs. You are taking part in the ritual of expanding the self. There may be mischief and deception around, and others may be trying on new masks too. No one is sure who is who. It's likely you've become so attached to a single mask that you need to fall face forward into this perception bending time. Trust it. Now, when this shows up as the light, Gemini, it reveals what has been suppressed. When it shows up as the dark, it further conceals what is rejected. As the Zen koan suggests, meditate on your original face, the one that you had before your mother and father were born. Think of a mask or costume you wore that felt empowering, marvelous, or fun. Who was it that you were being? Is that who is still within you? Gemini, if you would like to be entered into the free monthly reading giveaway where I draw one winner around the first of the month, I would love to hear your answer. All you need to do is drop in the comment section below a costume or a mask, something that you wore, whether as a child or as an adult, where you felt empowered, where you felt marvelous, or you felt fun. Who was it that you were being? Now, I'll answer that one. I actually have a couple that stand out. I was witches. I loved to be a witch every Halloween for as long as I could remember as a girl. But the two that stand out in this moment, one year as an adult, I was Catwoman. And I really loved that energy of Catwoman. It brought out this side of me, this rebel side of me in a way that felt very independent. It really activated that sacral chakra where I felt, a lot of power, like personal empowerment, like the cheetah, right? Or the cat. So the cat energy. And then also, wearing those masks, I forget what they're called, where it's like a half mask, the eyes are covered, because there's a sense of mystery. There's a level of secrecy here where just the eyes show. And that was something that, it felt really fun to be a part of that energy where you could just tune into other people's eyes. So let me know in the comment section below, Gemini, what is a mask that you have worn? Or maybe it was, an outfit that you had dressed up as. Maybe it was a specific dress or a certain pair of, gloves or a hat, or, maybe it's a snowsuit, whatever it is for you, how did you feel? And for those of you that would like to go further into this energy, check out the masks of James Ensor. Joan Jonas, or Jimmy Durham. All right, that is what I have for you, Gemini. If you enjoyed the reading, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, do drop your costume in the comment section below the video. Lots of love.